Hello everybody and welcome to the Dice Tower. My name is Tom Vassell and today we're going to be playing Adventureland. I guess I need like a Dice Tower logo. Hello everybody and okay, so Adventureland is one of a new series of games from HABA. Let me see, I'll show you the cover here. This is a family style game and I'm going to explain how to play it first and I'm going to tell you guys how we're going to play it. We're going to be playing a 3-player game. I'm going to be playing one of the players and then you guys are going to be making 2 teams and playing against me. I'm going to be purple, of course. You guys will be splitting up between green and yellow. Now the goal of this game is to get the most points, which is no big shocker. But what's interesting about this game is it actually comes with 3 different scenarios. Each scenario has different ways to get points. Even though I think I like scenarios 2 and 3 better than scenario 1, the Fellowship, I think scenario 1 is the best one to play, or at least to get started with in this game. Now in scenario 1 you're going to get points for a few things. First of all, we're going to try to get companions. If you have a companion, the first time you get a companion, so let's say I get a companion here, the first time you get a companion, they're worth 1 point. The second time, you'll get 2 points. The third time, you'll get 3 points, so on and so forth. So that's pretty simple, and that's for each adventurer. So if this adventurer gets a companion, that's 1 point. If this adventurer gets a companion, that's still just 1 point. There are going to be fog creatures in the game. Each fog creature has a certain number that's going to be required to defeat them, and they give a certain number of victory points. In this scenario, gold is going to be worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. And that's it. That's all the victory points. There's also herbs and sword tiles in this game. They're used in every game, but they're not worth victory points, so you might as well use them as you go. Okay, so what's going to happen in this game? First of all, let me show you how setup works. We're going to turn over 8 of these cards. Now in this deck are cards that match every single combination here on the board. So there's a card, for example, for AD. Well, let's just turn over the top card. Here we go, B9. So B9 shows an herb on it. So we'll take the top herb here and place it on B9. So that's card 1. We're going to do this 8 times. H5 is a gold. So we're going to put a gold on H5. Now we're also going to put this lady out here. This is the water sprite. Now, if the water sprite lands on you, the water sprite will kill you. But if we turn over another gold, let's say we turn over a gold here, the water sprite would go, and anyone in between would also be killed. So the river is where you get gold, but it's a dangerous place. Card 3, all right, that is a fog monster on I6. So we'll turn over this fog monster. This needs a 12 to defeat it and gives 6 points. So that goes there. That doesn't count as one of our 8 cards. F6 has a sword placed on it. So there we go. I7, another fog monster. This one's a strength 10 and gives 5 points. H6, another gold. Now the sprite didn't have to move very far there. I8, wow, it's like these weren't even shuffled. I'm going to have to shuffle them before we start again. So far, we've turned over 4 cards. K3, that's a companion. He goes way over here. So what do we have now? We've had 5, so we need 6. I5, another piece of gold. And the water sprite moves there. I'm going to quick give these another shuffle before I pull out any more. I thought I shuffled them like several times. I know you're supposed to shuffle them, what, 11 times for it to be truly random? Let's just shuffle them a few more times since we got so much stuff together. Which I don't mind. It's okay. It's not going to ruin the game if that stuff's together, but I don't want to get every single thing together here. Alright. And one more shuffle. For those of you who are just joining us, we are playing Adventureland here from HABA. This is an incredibly good game, or at least I really like it. All right, so far we've turned over 6 cards. We have 2 more to turn over. C8, another gold on the river. So we'll put that there, and the water sprite moves all the way down there. D2, another sword, which goes right there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fantastic. All right, so now the game is ready to begin. Now, on your turn, the first thing you will do is you'll draw 2 more cards. All right, these cards are going to be turned over, and you're going to place the stuff there that goes in those spots. Then you can move your adventurer. You can move one adventurer twice, or you can move 2 different adventurers once. When you move an adventurer, you can move them as far as you want in a straight line to the right or down. So I can move this guy here, but once he goes here, I can move him here. He'll never be able to go to these spots again. He also will never be able to go to these spots again. Where was that? D2. If you land on something, you're going to get that. Now, for the sword tiles and herbs, normally that stuff would be secret. It's not a huge deal. So in this game, we're going to make that stuff open and available. We have some extra things of each color. So I'm going to stick them over here on this side. And these, I'm just going to put the stuff that each player has. So the yellow team, the green team, and me. This is where we're going to keep our stuff. So when you're telling me where to move, you'll tell me where to move from. So here you might say 5 off the board to D5, and then you'd move there. And then you might say D5 to D9, and you'd move down there. Remember, you can move as far as you want. You can jump over other figures. You cannot jump over the water sprite, and you cannot jump over a fog monster. If you land on something, you'll get that thing. Remember, if you land on companions, they'll give you a point. And if you land on gold, you'll get 2 points. And if you kill a fog monster, well, this whole game is about fighting fog monsters. So when you land on a fog monster, you're going to fight the fog monster. Your adventure is worth 1. Each companion you have is worth 1. So if an adventurer has 3 companions, he's a power of 4. You also can spend swords. Each sword that you spend is going to give you a die. I'll roll those dice for you. That will be added to your score. Some swords have numbers on them. Those numbers, like this one here, will also be added to your score. Gold can be used to add 1 to your score, or to re-roll a die if you want to. And herbs have numbers on them, 2, 3, or 4, and those can be added even after everything else is done. If you equal or exceed the fog monster number, you kill it, and you will get points for that one right away. Okay, so we're going to get started here. So I'm going to pick, we're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm trying out all different methods of teams and so I'm going to pick someone to be on the yellow and someone to be in the green team. And they're going to be in charge for a while, and then I'll say, hey, pick someone new to be the leader of your team. And then that person will join the team. So yellow team is going to start out with Kabuki Kid because she was supposed to play yesterday, and, well, we ran out before she got a chance. And the green team will start out with Trenton Hagerhorst. I'm just going to say Trenton H. So Trenton, you're going to be the green team, and Kabuki Kid, you are going to be the yellow team. So Kabuki Kid, you're going to be first, and then after a while I'll say, Kabuki Kid, pick somebody else to be the leader. And then she picks somebody, and then that person becomes the new leader, and they're on the yellow team, and we'll just keep going and getting points. So the first thing, we're going to turn over 2 cards for the yellow team. So Kabuki Kid, think about where you're going to move, but first we turn these over. J6, another fog monster shows up here. It's a 10 point worth of 5. Now, we turn over 2 cards, but a fog monster does not count as one of those 2 cards. B8, another gold. Here, moves here. Still not. H10, a companion, goes here. Alrighty. Kabuki Kid, now you're going to tell me where you would like to move. You can move 2 different adventurers, or you can move the same adventurer more than once. People can give advice, but basically she's going to get to decide where the pieces go, And, you know, I would recommend that if you are the leader of a team, be thinking about where you're going to move ahead of time, because there is a delay of 30 seconds or so between you guys telling me what to go and such. Now, Kabuki Kid's not very hard. Now, there's a couple strategies here. You can move to stuff that you see on the board, right? Or you can move to some spots on the board and hope that that stuff shows up. As the cards are revealed, things might show up and you'll get them right away when you're on those spots. So it's really kind of up to you. You can move slowly, which can get you more stuff, but as other people might race down and get the better stuff ahead of you. By the way, Chuck, I got the cards today. Thank you very, very much. Nerds Revenge. All right. Well, okay, we'll call the yellow team nerds and the green team jocks. All right, so we're just going to wait here for the first move to begin by Kabuki Kid. If you're not sure what to do, then just like move someone. Like I said, you can grab the sword here. You can move to one of these spots and hope that an herb shows up. Kabuki Kid says move to D2. All right, I'll do that. So I'm going to assume it's this one here, D to D2. So we'll move that here, and you're going to get a sword, and that's just a regular sword, but that goes over in your pile. So that's the first move for you. All right. What's the second one move that you want to make? All right. So we're going to be doing more live gaming tomorrow with a very new game we'll be playing, and maybe a couple more. My goal is to get 3 of these live gaming sessions up tomorrow, and we'll see what else happens. So, once again, if you can tell me both your moves at one time, we can go faster. So, Trent, you're about to be going, so if you can give me both your moves when you do it, we can move faster. Remember, this is not that big of a deal, this game. It's not a very difficult game. All right, V3. All right, where's V? V3? V isn't even on the board. How do we have V? Did you mean C3? Am I missing a V? H2, please. Ah, okay. H2, H2, H2. I'm assuming we'll move this piece. So we move that over here to H2. All right, fantastic. All right, the next 2 cards showing up. I-10. And that is another companion. And J5, another gold. There is certainly a lot of gold on the board. All right, Trent, your turn. All right, so now Trent, you're going to be able to move one of your adventurers twice, or 2 of them once. So what's interesting in this game is you can't fight the fog monsters right away. It's impossible. They're the best points, at least for this round. Chuck, I did not have those cards already. I didn't even know such a thing existed, so I really appreciate it. Trent says H5 and B9. Okay, so the green team goes to H5. So green moves over here. So green gets a gold, which gives green 2 points. So we'll mark those 2 points there. And B9. All right, so green moves all the way down here to B9, and you get a level 2 herb. All right, so you have that herb that you can spend and the gold that you can spend. All right, Kabuki Kid, you're going to be going next after me. D5 is a sword, so we'll put a sword here in D5, and K8 is a companion. All right, so that goes over here. Alright, I'm going to move one person to A1, and I'm going to move this guy all the way down here to D5 and take the sword, which is just a plain regular sword. All right, Kabuki Kid, back to you. You have 2 cards we'll turn over. H4, another fog monster shows up over in H4. Whew, that's a 12 and 6 points. That doesn't count as one of our 3 cards. K6 lets us bring out a companion. And then F8 is a gold. And this green one's dead. Sorry, 1 green adventurer has died. Not the end of the world. You still have plenty of other adventurers. Okay, someone asked if I can lay the meeples down. That's not a bad idea. It's a lot easier to see them. Alright, Kabuki says at H2 to H6. Well, you can't actually do that because there's a fog monster in the way. C to C8. Alright, so you then move all the way down here. Take another gold. That's 2 points for yellow. Right. Remember, when you move, you can never go back north and you can never go back to the left or the west. B to B8. Alright. Another goal that puts yellow in the lead with 4 points. Alright, so the green team, F7, and herb shows up on F7. And the second card, a fog monster in D7. That is a 14 with worth 6 victory points. Doesn't count as a card. F10, another fog monster. Where is F10? All the way down here. It's a 16. That's the strongest one on the board, worth 8 points. Another fog monster, K5. It's seriously like someone didn't shuffle these. That's a weak fog monster. An 8 with 4 victory points. And then another herb on A9. A9 is here. Alright, Trenton is leaving. So, Trenton needs someone to take over for him. First person to call it becomes the new green team leader. Alright, well, there's a lot of fog monsters on the board to begin with, but you can still, this is not an impossible thing. Obviously, you can build up and slowly move around and get swords and herbs and things like that. So, I wouldn't worry about that. I keep forgetting to lay these guys down. There we go. So, no one is willing to step up and take the reins from Trenton, who has to go read a bedtime story. Alright, Jerry. Jerry, you're the green team leader. Go ahead. Give us your moves. Remember, you can move 2 people once, or you can move 1 person twice. He says F to F6. Alright, but there is no one on F. There's no one there. That's your scoring marker. B9 to H9. Now that one we can do. So B9 moves all the way over to H9. Okay. So that's your first move. And I bet I know what your second move is going to be. You can move through other teams' meeples, yes, but you cannot move through the water sprite and you cannot move through a fog monster. D to D1. Alright. So let's bring out 2 more cards. We have J1. Another companion shows up all the way up here. And then we have H2, which is an herb. Where is H2? Hey, lucky, lucky. That is 1 for the yellow team. You have a herb of 3. All right, so now I'm going to move. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to move this guy all the way over here. Grab that companion who's worth 1 point. And then I'll move this guy down here to A1. All right, Kabuki Kid, it's your turn. Let's turn over 2 cards. And C9, we're adding another companion to the board. And second card, K10. By the way, when we go through the deck, that triggers the end of the game. K10, the final spot, another companion on the board. Alright. So the Nerds, we're calling Team Yellow the Nerds, and we're calling Team Green the Jocks. Yesterday, the Jocks played the Nerds in the Duke and beat the Nerds, so... Just waiting for Kabuki Kid to tell me what the next moves are. Right now, the Nerds are winning 4-2-1. As you can see, if you pick up more people, you'll get more points. All right, C8 to C9. C8 to C9. That gives you 1 companion. That gives you a point. So that's your first one. Chuck says, companions. What is this? Firefly. Yes, because the word companion had never been used till that series showed up. Psst, psst. Not everything starts and ends with Firefly. Don't forget when you do your moves to give me both of your moves, not just one of them, because we do need to move twice. And 5 to I5. So 5 to I5. That gives yellow another gold, which is another 2 points. Alright, so now before the Jocks go, E6 brings out another sword. And J7 brings out a fog monster. This is an 8. That gives 4 victory points. And E4 brings out another sword. E4 is here. Alright, Jocks, your turn. Really, this game is kind of abstract, right? They're has all the monsters and swords and all that, but you're just moving things in a grid. But there's something about drawing the cards and placing them on the grid that I really like. Jerry, H10 and I10. All right. So Jerry moves here and gets 1 point for the first companion. Then moves here and gets 2 points for the second companion. Alright, fantastic. So, I9, another companion shows up. And G10, another companion shows up. Where's G10? Oh, alright, what am I going to do here? I'm thinking I am going to move this gentleman here to J2, and I'm going to move this guy here to E5. No points really, so that ends my turn. And so now C5 gets a sword, and H3 also gets a sword. Alright, Kabuki Kid, it's your turn. B9 to I9. So you don't have anyone on B9. B9 is here. And H2 to H3. Well, H2 to H3 I can do. So that moves you here and gives you a sword, which is a sword with a +1. Alright. And C9 to I9. Oh, okay. So C9 to I9. That moves you all the way down there. Gives you a second companion, which gives you 2 points. Alright. So while I'm getting ready for the next team to go, Kabuki Kid, pick a new leader for your team. Okay? Someone to run the yellow team. Alright. H7 gives us some gold. H7 is here. There goes the water sprite. And B3 gets some herbs. Right there. Alright, Jerry. Your turn to move one guy and or two. In my opinion, everyone, I have not played Karuba yet. Z played Karuba and said it's fantastic. And maybe Karuba will be nominated for Spiel des Jahres. But this game, I think, is so up the lane for Spiel des Jahres. They should at least consider this one. If this one's not in a nomination list, I'll be very surprised. All right, G. Bort is the new leader of Nerds. Jerry says 4 to E4. And that's green. 4 to E4. That gives you a sword. Just a normal, regular sword. And what did you say after that? And then to E6. And then moving down, another sword. You thieving! Boo to you. That's another regular sword. I hope you die with it. Alright, 2 new cards. G8. Bringing out some more gold. And J3. Another companion. Oh, never mind. I'm feeling better now. That makes my move easy. I'll move here for a companion that gives me 2. And then move here for a companion that gives me 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm no longer upset. F1 brings out another sword. Where's F1 there? And D8 brings out another gold. I have to say, Yellow, you are really taking some risks leaving those people on the river. The suggested age range of this game is 10 to 99 years. But I really think, at least with this scenario, you could easily play this with like an 8-year-old, I think. Alright, G. Bart, your turn to make a move. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. 1 to F1. Alright, that gives you another sword. Alright, that's a +1 sword. Woohoo! I'll put that in your +1 sword pile. Oops, you're right. I put this on the wrong spot. It's on D8. Thank you. The game ends when we run out of swords and when we run out of companions here in the stockpile. So the game could end before we go through all the cards in the deck. But not likely. Alright, G-Board says I5 to J5. So I5 to J5. grabbing a gold. That's 2 more points for the yellow team. All right, Jerry, your turn for the Jocks, the green team. Oh, I need to turn over 2 cards, of course. D1, another herb is placed on the board. Boom! Goes to the Jocks. That's a 3 herb. And B10, another companion, all the way down here. And I keep forgetting to lay these guys down. All right, green, it's your turn. What are you going to do, Jerry? I-10 to K-10. So moving in here, grabbing the last companion. This guy's stuck here for the rest of the game, but he got 3 points, which is probably all you need. An E6 to F6. E6 to F6, that gives you another sword, a regular sword. Although you guys certainly have a lot of regular swords. All right, Jerry, you need to pick someone new to run your team. And it's my turn. Let's turn over the cards first. E5, a companion comes out at, boom, yay! That's a point for me. And J8, a companion comes out there also. I am going to move this guy down here to take an herb, which is worth 2. And then I'm going to move these guys here, and we're going to fight the fog monster. So now you guys can see how fighting a fog monster works. So I have a strength 4, and I could add 2 to that. I need at least 8, but I'm going to spend a sword. Each sword lets me roll 1 die. I can add the herb to it afterwards. So if I get a 4, 5, or 6, I will kill the fog monster. Okay, guys, if you excuse me, I'm going to go yell into the bathroom really loudly. Even if I add the 2, I will lose. If I lose, everything is out of the game and put back in the box. Even if I add that 2, that's 3 plus 4 is 7. Are you kidding me? Boo! That's okay. A 1. You know what, folks? The lesson here is I did not use a dice tower. So that's the problem. All right. So meanwhile, let's turn over 2 cards for the next person. K9, another companion comes out right there. And F9, a piece of gold is here. And the water fairy moves there. Alright, G-Bort, what would you like to do? Serves me right! What did I do wrong? I was demonstrating how to kill a fog monster. I just did not do a very good job forwarding it. Alright, G-Board says I9 to K9. I9 is here to K9. So that gives yellow 3 more points. And then J5 to K5. J5 is here. And they're going to fight the fog monster now. Now, right now you are a strength 1. You can roll up to 3 swords. So you need to tell me how many swords you would like to roll. Alright. So you tell me how many swords you would like to roll. And after I roll the swords, and you'll get the +1 if you use the 2 +1 swords. You can add the herb for 3 more points. You can add 1 for each gold you spend, and you can re-roll dice for each gold. So you really have a lot of options that you can spend here. But I just need to know how many swords you would like to go. By the way, the number of swords that you can roll is a maximum of 3. Doesn't matter how many swords you have. All right, so 2. 2 swords. All right, so we're going to roll this here. I'm going to assume that you're going to use a regular sword and a +1 sword, because I don't see why you would need to do more than that. That's 8 on the swords alone. All right, so you spend a regular sword and a +1 sword, so those are gone. You still have a +1 sword. And you kill the fog monster, which is worth 4 points. And I'm just sad. All right, so now it's Daniel is the new leader here. Let's cut out some more stuff. A7 gets a gold, and woo, dead. And then the second one, C7, gets a companion placed on it. C7 is here. All right, so Daniel, go ahead and tell me what moves you would like to do now, and we'll move you. Yellow is winning by a mile. Purple just wants to punch somebody. I gotta tell you, I'm gonna take this purple guy outside and talk to him, because he's having a really, really bad attitude. But you can see here, by using the dice tower, you improved your percentage of rolling. Anyway, Daniel, I need your moves so we can get going here. There's certainly a lot of stuff on the board. We are getting close to running out of companions, but we certainly have a lot of swords left. I hope I pulled swords out of this at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we're right. The nerds are beating the jocks, are beating the vassal. F6 to F7 is the first move. F6 to F7, it gives you another herb. It's a strength 4 herb. And then you also said A to A5, which brings you down there. All right, fantastic. All right, purple's turn. D9, get some gold. So D9 is here. Whoop. And K2 gets another adventurer. All right. Well, I'm going to take this guy and move him all the way over here and grab that adventurer for 1. And then we're going to move all the way down here and grab that adventurer for 2 more. All right. That's my turn. It's now the nerds. Yellow. H9 brings out a fog monster. This fog monster is a strength 12 worth 6 points. G3 brings out another sword. We're actually not seeing as many swords as we could be seeing. J2 brings out another companion. All right. G-Bort, your turn. That was A6. Oh, A6. Sorry. All right, G-Board, it's your turn to go. So we have almost all the fog monsters on the board. Most of the gold has shown up. There's still a lot of herbs and swords that have not shown up. Most of the fog monsters are on the board. If you're just tuning in for the first time, this is Adventureland. Okay, 3 to G3. So 3 to G3. That gives you a sword. It's a +1 sword. And then G3 to G8. G3 to G8 gives you another gold. That is worth another 2 points, which brings the yellow team up to 20. All right, Daniel, before you go, F4 brings out another companion, and C6 brings out another companion. Whew. We only have 3 companions left that are going to show up on the board. All right, Daniel, it's your turn to go. If you're just dropping in for the first time, rather than have people explain, you can always slide to the very beginning of the video, watch it, and then catch back up live. That's what I would recommend. It's the fastest. Whew. So these guys are essentially done here, because neither one of them can move any farther. Daniel says F7 to H7 to I7. F7 to H7 to I7. Alright, so first he took the gold, which gives green 2 points. You're fighting a monster with strength 10. You are currently a strength 1. You have 3 swords you can use. They're all regular swords. So I just need to know how many of those swords you plan to use in the combat. Let me know and we'll roll the dice. You then have the opportunity to use gold to add to your score, and herbs add to your score. I mean, you have an herb of 4, 3, and 2. And gold can also re-roll the dice. So, and by the way, for those of you just tuning in, we're playing Adventure 1. Adventure 2 and 3, at the end of this game, I'll explain how the other adventures work. Well, we probably won't play another one tonight, because I really do have to go to bed and get other things done. Daniel spends only 1 sword. Alright, here's your die. 2. Now, you have some options here. Right now, you're a strength 3 against 10. You can add the herbs and or gold to go over. You can spend gold to do a reroll. You let me know what you'd like to do. You can't spend any more swords, though. So just tell me how you want to do this. And we'll see if you can beat this thing to give you 5 points. No, it's not that I'm sleepy. It's just that you actually need sleep. That's what I've heard. This must be horrible to watch later on when it's not live, because all you do is watch the game and hear me drone on. I'm just keeping a pattern so that you're not just sitting in silence. Spend the gold for a reroll. Alright. Here's the reroll. Still a 2. It is currently 11:15 p.m. where I'm at, which isn't too late, but I do wake up at 6 on the dot every day. So I try to get between 5:30 and 6 hours of sleep. All right, Daniel. You gotta make decisions a little faster here. I use necessary amount of herbs to beat the monster, he says. All right, so he's at 3. It's 10. You need 7. So you use a 4 and a 3 to beat the monster. The monster is now dead. That is 5 points for green team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Giving you a nice lead over the vacillator. All right, we'll turn over 2 cards. E9, another gold shows up. E9. And G1, another herb shows up. And G1, alright. So my turn. I'm going to move. Not really happy with, well, anything. But let's see here. Yeah, this is not super great. So I'm going to do one. I'm going to move this guy all the way down here and grab this sword, which is a regular sword, but I need a regular sword. And then I'll just keep moving down and grab a companion for 1 point. Alright. Let's turn over 2 cards. D6 brings out a sword here. And E1 brings out another sword here. Now just so everyone remembers what everyone has, the nerds have 2 + 1 swords. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of gold, and they have an herbs worth 3. The green team has a gold, an herb worth 2, and 2 regular swords. I have an herb worth 2 and a regular sword. Alright. G-Bort, you are next. So tell us what you're going to do. So right now, for those of you watching later, there's a lot of discussion over what should be done. G-Board says F1 to G1. So they grab this herb, which happens to be a 2. They now have 5 points worth of herbs. And H3 to H4. Alright, so you're attacking a 12. You have 1 point to that 12. You have 5 points of herbs. You have 2 + 1 swords. And you have 3, 4, 5 gold. Now I'm assuming you're going to use at least 1 sword, but you might want to use both. So remember, when you move into something to attack it, if you want to tell me right away what things you want to use, we can go a lot faster. Oh, no problem, Daniel. I'm not worried about people being slow. I'm just saying, like, when you make your moves, if you can put both of them in right away, if you move and attack something, if you can say, hey, I'm going to use this and this to attack it, that will make things a little bit faster for, especially when people are watching the thing. And if you fall behind and you might be actually not caught up live, then hit the live button on the YouTube and you'll catch up and you won't be so far back. But like, for example, here, G-Bort, you moved on the monster, but if you had told me right away how many dice swords you're using, we can go a little bit faster. You have 2 swords. They're both +1s. You can see your swords up here next to the yellow team. All right, we're using both swords here. That's 8, 9, 10 plus, because both swords are +1, plus you is 11. You need 1 more. You can spend 1 gold to add 1. You can spend the herbs 2 or 3. You can re-roll. It is up to you what you'd like to do. But you can win. I don't know that I'd recommend re-rolling a die. I would probably just spend a gold at this point to catch up. So what you gonna do here? Herb to finish. Okay. So we'll use the 2. Oh wait, no, that's Chuck who said that actually. Re-roll the 3. One herb. Alright, so we use the 2 herbs. And that's that round. You beat the monster, giving you 6 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, G-Bort, while Daniel's getting ready to make his moves, you pick a new person to lead the nerds. Alright. Meanwhile, let's draw some new cards here. D4 brings out another sword. And, oh, don't look at these. Don't. And C1 brings out another herb here. All right, Daniel, what you want to do? Make both your moves. And meanwhile, let's have the nerds get a new person in charge there. We're trying to let as many people play as possible. This game is not out of print. This game is coming into print this year. It should be out in stores now or very soon. Daniel says D1 to D4 and I7 to I8. So D1 to D4, you get a regular sword. And what was the other one you said? I7 to I8. I7 to I8. Okay, you have a strength 1. You have 3 swords to spend, a gold, and 2 herbs. So I need to know how many swords you're going to use to fight in this battle. Remember, when you move into a battle, if you can tell me how many swords right away, we would all save a lot of time. And you're moving into a strength 10 monster. That's worth 5 points. All right, let's see here. Just waiting to see how many swords we're using. Again, I like to reiterate that if you move into a battle, please tell me right away what you're doing because it makes it a lot faster. All right, 3 swords. Be ready to tell me what you want to do if this is not a good roll. But it was a good roll. That's 12, easily defeating the monster. For 5 more points for green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 26 to 25, and no one cares about purple at this point. All right, let's draw 2 more cards. E2, another sword. And D3, another sword. There are swords everywhere. And I am thinking that I will grab that sword, which is a regular sword, and that's a tough one. I think I will jump all the way down here and grab another sword, which is another regular sword. I never get these +1 swords. All right, Chuck, you're going to be going next. K1, another sword, comes out all the way in the corner. And B4, another sword comes out here. Well, we should move our swords. There are still 9 swords left and 3 companions. When all the swords and companions are on the board, the round is over. Chuck, you are here. And after Chuck, then Daniel will be going. Daniel says, or someone said, I forget who said it, have I tried playing where put markers on the board where the cards have come up? I haven't done that. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. I just feel like that would be a lot more fiddly, right? You have to put markers all over the board, and the board would look very cluttered. I could do it. I wouldn't mind doing it. I know Rado does it that way. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't do it here just because of the extra stuff, and you guys already have an advantage because you're playing 6 people per thing. All right, meanwhile, Chuck says 2 to E2 and gets a sword. That's a +1 sword. And 4 to B4. which is a +2 sword. Man, yellow's so lucky with the swords. Alright, let's turn over 2 more cards, and then the G9, hey, another monster shows up finally. It's a 14, that's a big one. Another monster shows up in E8. That's a 10. A5 gets another sword. We are down to 8 swords left. E7 gets another herb. And that goes right there. Alright, Daniel, your turn. Let's see. So just waiting for Daniel to tell me where you're going to move yet for the green team, the Jocks. Oh, Brett has replaced him. Oh, Brett. All right, Brett, you tell me what to do next. By the way, this can go up to 4 players. Brett says C to C1 and then E1. So C to C1, taking the 4 herb, and then to E1, taking a regular sword. Alright, so you got a 4 herb and a regular sword. Alright, we'll turn over 2 more cards. C2 is another herb. And K4 is another gold. Whereas K4 here, and this yellow guy died. But you have to admit, he was asking for it, because that guy's been sitting in the river for a really long time. Alright, let's see here. I had my idea. Alright, yes. I am going to move here, which scores me 2 points. Fine. I'm going to attack this monster here. I have 3 swords. I'm going to use all 3 swords. 14. I'm starting with 3. Oh, yes! Okay, I killed a monster. I'm so very excited. And that is 7 points worth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've caught up to the Jocks. Ha 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 ha. I'm very excited now. Next stop, Nerd Central. All right, meanwhile, B7 brings out another gold. And A8 brings out an herb. Bloop. All right, Chuck, what do we do next? You got to think someone's going to make an app of this game. This is definitely a game I would play on my iPad. For sure, I think. We still have 3 companions and I think 7 or 8 swords left. When we run out of companions and sword, the game will end and everyone gets the same number of turns, which means I will go last. You cannot kill a sprite. The sprite is invincible. Sprite cannot be killed. E2 to E7. Alright. E2 to E7. Getting an herb. And that is a 3. And then G1 to G9. G1, a 14. That is, you are 1. You have 3 plus 1 swords and 1 plus 2 sword. The most swords you can use is 3. And did you tell me how many swords you were going to use? You did not. Alright. Don't forget to tell me how many swords you're going to use. That's helpful. One plus 2 sword and 1 plus 1 sword. Alright. So that's 3 plus 1 is 4. Plus 2 more, 6. So that's a total of 10. You have rerolls that you can use, or you can use gold and or herbs to add to that amount. You're currently at 3, 4 plus 6, 10. So let me know if you're going to use gold. Remember, each gold adds 1. You have 2, 3 herbs which you can add. You can use gold to reroll. It's completely up to you. Gold to reroll the 2. No problem. Okay, now you're at 9. I don't know if you're allowed to like spend the gold to reroll, then reroll, then reroll. Yes, you can. All right. Well, there is that. Right now your total is a 9. 5 plus 3 plus 1 is a 9. Using another gold to re-roll the die again. It's back to a 2. Well, you are back to 10. Once again, you need 14 to take this creature out. He's going to say ugh again, I bet. Now what are you going to do? You can add the herbs, or you can... So you're at 10. You would actually need to add both herbs, or you could add 1 herbs and 1 gold, which would be a total of 4. Or you could re-roll again. It's up to you. Alright. Well, you put a question mark after that, but I'm going to just assume that that's what you're doing. So herbs and a gold. Alright, that's 14. The fog monster's defeated. 7 points for the nerds. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. And now it is the Jocks team. Before they go, though, let's put out 2 new things. B5, another companion. There are only 2 companions left. I3, another companion. There is now only 1 companion left. Alright, Jocks, what you going to do? Green team, that's Brett. Brett, what's the deal here? What moves would you like to make? So we're getting kind of close to the end of the game for those watching. I mean, there still could be several turns left of the game, but the game has a very finite amount of turns. It's going to be, you know, you're going to draw 2 cards, and so every turn. Brett says A6 to A8. All right, A6 to A8. Taking an herb. That's a 4 herb for you. And then he said... Oh, I like Brett. He's very concise here. E1 to E8 with 1 sword. E1 to E8 with 1 sword. Starting at a 1, has 1 sword. 6, that's a total of 7. I'm going to guess that you're going to spend an herb to make up the other 4 for 11. That kills that monster, giving you 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Excellent. Excellent. C10, the last companion, is on the board. K7, well, no more companions left, so too bad for that. We'll keep drawing. G7, another gold. Alright, so I have 2 things to do here. I think I'm just going to get gold. Gold, gold. Like that. And that's 4 points for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Nerd's turn. G4, another sword. I4, another herb. Alright. Chuck, your turn. Chuck wants to know where the 6 was on his turn. I don't know. You failed the dice tower. The dice tower looked poorly upon you. Alright, so anyhow, nerds still have a very commanding lead here. It's going to be hard for us to catch them, especially since they're still sitting on 2 swords, 2 gold, and a 3 herb. This is not the last turn because there are still swords left. When we run out of swords, it will be the last turn. So, you probably have at least 2 more turns at least. Because those swords, even if they all came out, let's say 2 swords came out, and then 2 more swords came out, and 2 more swords came out, yeah. So, you really have plenty of time. Or at least a couple more turns. I shouldn't say plenty of time. I've been sitting on A1 the whole game, hoping that that herb comes up, and it hasn't. Alright, A to A5, and then to B5. Haha, you thought you were just guessing. I'm actually giving it to you. A sword, and then a companion for +1. That's a regular sword, and then a companion for +1. Even though you put a question mark, I'm doing it anyway. Alright, jocks. A4, there's an herb. And G2, another sword comes out on the board. Alright, green team. Brett, go ahead. What do you want to do? There's stuff everywhere now. I wonder if the chat died because I'm not seeing anything. Oh, never mind. D4 to F4. So D4 to F4, which gives green a point because you added a companion. And then G4, which gives you another sword. And this sword happens to be a regular sword. Alright, so let's add 2 more cards. A3, an herb. And C3, another sword. My turn's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to do gold, gold. That's 4 points worth. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Adding another sword to E3. And another sword to A6. We are down to only 3 swords. You never know when the game will end. Chuck. Purple's not in last place, by the way. Purple is in second last place. Alright, yellow nerds, what would you like to do? All right, B5 to B10. B5 to B10 to G10. I think you mean F10? All right, well, first of all, let me give you 2 points. B5 to B10 to G10. I'm assuming you mean F10. Yes. With 3 swords. All right. So you have 3. And yellow has 3 swords. And there's 2 plus 1s. So we're going to roll 3 dice. That's 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You need 1 more. I'm just going to assume you're spending a gold. So that gives you 16. That's 8 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's probably game. That was some pretty cool stuff. All right. Before the jocks go, A2 gets an herb. Good job sitting there. And H1 gets an herb. This guy's like waiting for herbs to show up. Meanwhile, they're showing up all around him. All right, jocks, it's your turn. What you gonna do? Brett. By the way, Chuck, I know we're close to the end of the game, but in case you get another turn, pick someone else to finish this game off. We're trying to rotate around. Give someone else that final turn, the glory. Meanwhile, Brett. I believe that was the biggest monster out there, huh? It was. Oh well. I couldn't kill that. It was too big, I think. I only have a pile of gold. G4 to I4. Alright, G4 to I4 gives you a 2 herb. And then to I6 with 1 sword. Alright, you're a strength 2. Adding 5 is 7. You need 5 more. So I'm just going to assume you're going to use the 4 and the gold to make up the difference of 5, which gives you 6 points. Alright. Did I draw 2 things there between the turns? No, I didn't. Alright, there would have been another companion. No, he's not out. J4 for gold. Where's J4? And I2 for sword. Okay, now, after your turn, B2 for an herb. G6, another fog monster shows up. This guy's a weenie. And I1, a sword. Well, there's still another sword, so everyone's going to get one last turn, probably. Meanwhile, what is purple going to do? Purple's going to move here and get 3 points. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not enough. Yeah, I'm just going to go in here and attack this guy. I think, hang on, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that is not going to happen. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1, 7. I'll just drop all the way down here and grab that gold for 2 more points because I got to stay ahead of the jocks. All right. D10, nothing. C4, last sword is on the board. B1, herb on the board. All right, these are the final turns. Geeks, final turn. Kabuki Kid. What is the final move of the game going to be for the nerds? Oh, Brett, I forgot to tell you, throw the ball to somebody. Let someone else take the final turn for the jocks. Oh, is Jonathan making the final move? Okay, never mind. Jonathan make the final move. Brett, pick someone to make the final move for you. B4 to H7. And H4 to H6. That is 4 more points for yellow. 2 cards before the jocks go. A10 gets another herb. And J10, nothing. That's a companion. That's a sword. That's a companion. That's a companion. That's a sword. A1. Sure, now you show up. Alright. Alright, Amar, take the final turn for the jocks. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Alright, well, let's see here. Look at all these herbs here. They showed up too late. We could have got those earlier. There is no final scoring. Not in this one. There's no final scoring. E8 to EF. Not sure what that means. E8 to EF. E8 to J8. Wait, hang on. I'm not quite sure I understand that. E8 to J8. I'm confused. I think you meant E8 to F8 to J8. That's what I'm going to assume you meant. So here, 2 gold, and then here another point. So 1, 2, and then 1. If I'm incorrect on that, sorry. Alright, last 2 cards. Nothing matters, but I think there's another fog monster in H8. Where is that one? Here. That's a strength 8. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can kill a strength 8. So I'm going to, boom, spending all my gold and my herbs to kill him for 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll take 2 gold. Alright, so that's the game. So with 48 points, yellow wins. I have 39 for second, and jocks have 35. I wasn't last, which Sam says makes me the first loser, but I do not care. So that is the end of the game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so that's how you play Adventure 1 in this game. So let me explain the other 2 adventures to you, just so you can see how both of them work, because they're really quite interesting. In Adventure 2, there's a new rule in that you are allowed to take one of your ventures and join together. So I could have him join these guys. If, let's say, these guys were here, they could come together and join him if he already had some with him. So you have one big giant group. Now in Adventure 2, you don't score until the end of the game. At the end of the game, your biggest group, wherever it is, you're going to multiply it by 3. That's called your Magnificent, that group. Also at the end of this, of Adventure 2, you'll get double points for every fog monster that you kill. Gold is worth 2 victory points if you still have it at the end of the game. So if you spend it, you don't get the victory points for it. And herb and sword tiles will give you the points listed on them. So a regular sword gives you nothing, but a +2 will give you 2 points. So it's a very different style of game. That's the Magnificent, that one's called. Then the third one, and this is one I really like, Escape to the Cities. At the end of the game, you'll get points for each fog monster you kill, normal points. Whoever kills the most fog creatures gets 7, then 3, then 1. Gold is worth 2 victory points. Whoever has the most gold gets 7, then 3, then 1. But then you will score each city. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities. Whoever has the most adventures in a city gets as many points as that city is big. So this one's worth 12. Then we have 6, 5, 4, and 3. So whoever has the largest group gets the second largest group, because you're going to count all your adventurers and companions. Whoever has the most will get that many points. The second highest gets half that many points, etc. Also, at the end of the game, anyone who's not in a city will lose points. And you will, each person outside, you will multiply those by the number of fog creatures still in the game. And that's how many negative points. So you want to get to the cities. So I actually, like I said, I like both of these better than this one, but this one is the easiest one to teach and play, the Fellowship. But it's really cool because all 3 of these have a very different feel, and I would be unbelievably shocked if a 4th one of these doesn't show up in Spielbox or something as time goes by. So this is Adventureland for those of you who are tuning in at the very, very end. And the internet beat me, the nerds beat me, but I beat the jocks. It was a good game. My whole game kind of fell to pieces. If only I had killed that monster, I would have 4 more points and yellow had 4 less points. No, okay. Probably not. I can't believe I rolled a 1 to start off the game with then. So, thank you guys for watching. It is almost midnight here, so I'm going to shut this one down. Like I said, I'll be doing these tomorrow, so I don't know what games I'll be doing yet. You'll have to just swing by and stop. I would imagine you'll see the first game show up somewhere around 9 or 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you'll see another one show up a little bit later, and then another one later. We'll see. Maybe there might only be 2 games tomorrow rather than 3. It depends on how long the games are that we pick to play. So anyway, folks, my name is Tom Vassell. I really appreciate you watching the Dice Tower. Thanks for watching. This has been Adventureland with HABA. I did not win, but I'm glad you guys stopped by to join me. See you next time.